At Paris Fashion Week, at the Balenciaga show, supporting the newly installed creative director there, Pierpaolo Piccioli, who she has a long-standing friendship with. Her first time back at Paris Fashion Week in over a decade, but interestingly, her first time back in Europe since 2023.
I think the outfit was fantastic. What do you think?
Very chic. I mean, I couldn't pull it off. So respect to her for doing that.
Look at her.
I couldn't pull it off either. But
I mean, she looks like she's on the catwalk there a little bit.
Yeah, swooping through the revolving doors of a hotel and out on the red carpet. Like,
I mean, listen. There were some people, weren't there, online saying that actually there was a bit of a kind of link to Princess Leia. Star Wars fans.
It's given me Princess Leia vibes,
You're
Chris.
right, okay,
it really is. Yeah. Do you agree?
Weren't alive in the 1970s when Star Wars came out. However,
I cannot possibly reveal that. I think she looks fab.
Yeah.
And also, you said this is the first time in Europe for 2 years. Technically.
Yeah. I mean, there's always an interesting debate. How can Meghan come to Paris, but Harry wouldn't allow Meghan to come to London?
Yeah,
that's go back to the security thing we were just talking about. And apparently, the threats in London are that much greater than they are in Paris. And the fact that she went in and out and didn't post anything on Instagram until she was wheels up on the plane, and that was how she was to do it. But I mean, security. I mean, security's been an issue for monarchs over the years, isn't it? I mean, they're not. The monarchs are a threat, not just from external threats, but from actually sometimes those inside your own court.
Absolutely. I mean,
well, wasn't that a masterclass in passive-aggressive journalism? You could practically smell the envy through the screen. There she was, Meghan, radiant in Paris, stepping into Fashion Week like she owned the decade. And suddenly, every royal commentator in London needed a group therapy session. You could hear it in their voices. The women on that panel were unbelievably fans for a moment, caught up in Meghan's effortless magic. But poor Chris Shipp, he looked like he'd just seen his Wi-Fi bill, trying so hard to keep that smile glued on, while his soul screamed, "Why won't she just stay home?" Every time Meghan does something elegant, poised, international, you can almost feel the royal press breaking into hives. It's like watching someone allergic to success trying to pretend they're fine. Let's be honest, this Paris Fashion Week moment wasn't just a fashion appearance, it was a declaration. Meghan walked into that event saying, "I'm not waiting for anyone's approval. I define my own narrative now." And that, my friends, is what terrifies them the most. Because the UK press built a whole cottage industry on controlling her story, painting her as difficult, dramatic, divisive. But now, she's showing the world who she actually is: calm, stylish, untouchable. And she's doing it without the royal machinery propping her up. You could feel the panic in that ITV studio. The friendly analysis quickly turned into a therapy circle for people who can't accept that Meghan is doing just fine, better than fine, actually, flourishing. They can't comprehend how someone could walk away from the palace, from the power, from the titles, and still be adored, still be relevant, still be invited to the biggest fashion show in the world, while the rest of them are stuck dissecting the colour of Kate's coat. Chris Shipp's whole vibe screamed controlled irritation. That quiet, tight-lipped frustration of someone who knows Meghan's thriving but can't admit it publicly. He couldn't just say, "She looked incredible." He had to drag the conversation into something else, anything else, because acknowledging Meghan's success is basically a crime in royal media land. They can't stand that she's still newsworthy without them, that every time she appears, she's commanding global attention, while their palace gossip segments are getting fewer clicks than a broken remote. Meghan is a global conversation, their local background noise. And of course, it always circles back to the same tired talking points: security, Harry, London. It's the script they cling to when they have nothing new to say, but we all see through it. Security is just code for, why won't she come back so we can criticize her again? It's not that she can't go to London, it's that she won't go where she's not respected. She's not playing their game anymore. She's setting her own rules, and that infuriates people who thought they had the monopoly on her narrative. Paris was symbolic. It wasn't just about fashion, it was about freedom. The way she carried herself, serene, confident, radiant, it said, "I'm unbothered, I'm unbroken, And I'm moving forward. No overexposure, no chaos, no scandals, just quiet, commanding presence. Meanwhile, British reporters are stuck writing think pieces about her outfit like it's a national crisis. Imagine that. A woman wears a dress and grown men in suits lose composure on live television. That's not journalism. That's obsession with a capital O. And can we talk about the irony? These same outlets claim Meghan wants attention. Yet the second she appears, they dedicate entire segments to dissecting her every blink. She's not chasing attention. They are. She doesn't need them to stay relevant. They need her just to stay on air. The real problem is that Meghan represents something the royal system and its media orbit have never known how to handle, a woman who won't stay in her assigned box. They expected her to fade quietly into the California hills, post an occasional quote on Instagram, maybe pop up for charity events. Instead, she's commanding Paris, connecting with global designers, and redefining modern royalty without ever needing the palace's blessing. You can feel the media establishment trembling because her independence exposes their irrelevance. Every time she wins, it highlights how much they've lost control. They tried to bury her under negativity, and she turned it into diamonds. They mocked her ambition, and now she's thriving on her own terms. They wanted to erase her influence. Instead, she's rewriting what influence looks like. And here's the delicious part. The audience isn't fooled anymore. People are waking up to the manipulation. They see the fake concern, the subtle digs, the desperate attempts to spin positivity into scandal. Meghan's presence in Paris didn't just break the internet. It broke the illusion that the British press has any moral high ground left. Because while they were busy pretending to be unbothered, the truth was right there on camera. They were bothered. They're always bothered when Meghan shines. Her success exposes their failure to control her, to define her, to predict her next move. And what makes it all even sweeter is that Meghan doesn't even have to say a word. She doesn't clap back, doesn't issue statements, doesn't play the media's messy game. She lets her grace and presence do the talking, and it drives them absolutely mad. Paris was a power play in silk, a silent reminder that she's outgrown their drama, their narratives, and their noise. The woman they called Too Hollywood is now the embodiment of global class, the one who walked away from the palace, yet still commands more press than the entire balcony combined. So let them keep dissecting her trips, her wardrobe, her whereabouts. Because while they talk, she's living. While they plot, she's prospering. And while they whisper, she's walking into rooms that would never have her critics on the guest list. Chris Ship and company can keep pretending this is about royal commentary, but we all know what this is, resentment dressed up as reporting. And the more Meghan glows, the more obvious their bitterness becomes. This wasn't just a fashion moment, it was poetic justice in couture. A quiet, "I told you so," to every tabloid headline that tried to bury her. Meghan didn't just attend Paris Fashion Week. She reclaimed the narrative, reclaimed her piece, and reminded the world why she's still the story they can't stop telling. And that's the irony, isn't it? They said she wanted fame. But the truth is, she became unforgettable, and they just can't handle it. So let them seethe, let them overanalyze, because Meghan's not looking back. She's looking fabulous. And Paris was the punctuation mark on a story that the UK press never got to finish. Game over. Meghan wins again.